Hello,
Hi there.
everybody. Well, this,
I'm Iron.
and I'm Gal.
We are co-founder of Love Made Simple and the Couple Center. We are a couple expert and we teach about couples and relationship in the Bay Area. And we are parents of two incredible boys. Not sleeping much at night, but very happy during the day.
And welcome to our weekly broadcast that we're doing every Wednesday at 12:30 live. And today we want to talk about a topic that for me feels like really, really important. We call it attunement is a superpower, okay, or is a relationship superpower.
And it's part of our series about communication. So in the last 3 weeks, we talk about the different aspects of communication, and that's the fourth week. We had our webinar on last Thursday, which we kind of like went a little bit more in depth, which was really amazing one. We had amazing, incredible couples that joined us and share about their experience, and we learned, so much about them. It was really nice. So thank you for all of you that joined us on Thursday. Okay, let's jump in.
Okay. And so attunement, so we're doing it as part of our series on communication, but attunement is actually a very fundamental skill that we see as actually a superpower that's really important to any aspects of relationship. But if we start with communication for a moment, there's a lot of advice about communication, a lot of information out there. We give a lot of talks and information about communication, and so this is definitely a very important topic. But there's something that is underneath communication. Something is the foundation on which good communication or bad communication is influenced, and that's attunement. Okay.
So we can give you lots of tips and a lot of ideas, and tools how to practice that, which all are great. But the bottom line is that we really want to feel felt by our partner. We want to feel that they get us. And that's the reason it's a superpower, because no matter what topic we are going to talk about, if we can get to that bottom layer, we kind of like hit the nail.
Right. So if you talk about communication, we really want our partner to see us and understand us, right? And that's basically attunement, right? Is are they attuned to us? Do they get what we feel? If you talk about actually wanting to feel more close and connected with your partner, this also has to do with attunement, because you want to feel like, do they get me? Do they feel what's going on for me? Do they care about me? Right? So that's also true about communication, connection, sorry. And last thing, it's also true about sexuality, right? Because what is it like to be with someone, or have intimacy and sexuality with someone who feel really attuned to you, that know what you feel, know what's going on for you, know what you like and what not like. So that makes it much more exciting.
Yeah, and I think especially for women, I can talk for myself, there is a level of attunement that is very important to happen while we are having intimacy, while we are connecting sexually. Because, at times we have the energy of just having like a quickie, and that's great, but other times it's more about how we can really be present with each other. I need to make sure that Gal is there with me, that he's not thinking about work, that he's not thinking about the next thing in the to-do list. That's to feel his...
Never do that.
Yeah, just when we're having sex. The rest time it's fine. So really to know that he's there with us, with me, not with us, with me. And the way I know that is because I can feel that he feels me. Because if I feel like he does not feel me, I'm just like, I'm not sure we can go there. So it's very important for me as a person, and maybe for women in general, and I'm sure for men too, or whatever, kind of like gender you are, it's just like to feel felt by the other person.
So let's organize this a little bit. Let's talk about what attunement is and why is it so important. Kind of make it a little more clear, more specific. So attunement is our ability to feel and get on the more body level, felt sense level, what's happening with someone else. Like what's going on in their world. What are they feeling? What are they experiencing? What are they thinking? That's, when we are attuned towards someone else, is we get that. Like we get information and we feel something in our own self that is going on for them.
Right. We want to feel a unit. We want to feel together. We want to feel that we are on the same boat, that we are not separated. Because when someone is disattuned, they're kind of like farther away from us. We feel like we have to protect ourselves, we have to defend ourselves, we have to be more strong in front of the other person instead of being more soft.
Right, so you have, like in the language, you have things like, put yourself in someone else's shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically attunement. That can you feel them? Can you see the world from their eyes? Can you look at it from their perspective? And when you do, actually you find that everybody makes sense because they make sense in their world. Sometimes if we don't agree about something, it seems like it's crazy. Like, why do you think that way? That's kind of crazy. But that means that I'm not attuned. If I'm attuned to her, then I see the world from her perspective, and then it makes sense because people do make sense in their own framework.
But it doesn't mean we have to agree with the other person. We can disagree and still understand the perspective from where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. So I can, have an argument with Gal and just, be angry and upset. And also the moment I'm putting myself in his shoes, I'm like, okay, so why does he think differently than me? What's happening in his world? What is his experience? Why he's so defensive? Why he's so mad? Why he's just not present or whatever it is? It's like, okay, what's there? And when I get into what's there, there is much higher chance that I can feel him and then connect with him and still disagree.
Right. So I like to use the metaphor instead of putting yourself in each other's shoes. I like to use the metaphor actually feeling the same water. So what I mean by that is if someone is swimming in something, right? Like they're feeling a lot or something is going on for them. It's like they're swimming in the water of something, of happiness or sadness or frustration. They're swimming in it. And then to be attuned to someone is to have you put at least your toe in the same water. Maybe just your foot, or put some parts of you in that water. So it means you're not going to feel exactly like them or the intensity of what they feel, but you feel enough to understand like, oh, that's what's going on for you. Now I get the temperature of the water. Now I get the texture of the water. And so now we're creating togetherness. Now it's like you're not alone. We're bridging that place of aloneness, and we're in together experiencing that experience. And that's very powerful. That's very healing.
And also it's developing our intuition. It's like, what's happened to the other person? Can I sense by looking at them, by feeling them, by opening my heart into them? I want to give you an example. Sometimes, when I come and I want to hug Gal, and let's say he does the dishes, and I really slowing down because for Gal, he needs to know when I'm surprising him with hugs. I know we're together for 18 years, I still need to ask permission to hug him sometimes. But the fact that I can look at him and just assess in what energy he is when he does the dishes. Is he listening to music? Is he kind of like very serious? His body may be more contracted. He's more open. I'm really trying to read what's happening on his side so I can decide how to approach the hug. Do I approach him with kind of like a really big and connecting hug? Or I'm just like maybe just grab his back? Or I'm asking him if he wants to touch at all? So I'm assessing in what place he is. So I'm being really attuned to his position and not just mine. And at the same time, I have to be attuned to where I'm coming from. Like, what is my energy? If I came from, place and I'm more agitated and I want to give him a hug, I need to see how I feel also, to be attuned to myself and see if I can match my energy to his energy. So we can together dance that, conversation.
So Leon is bringing something important, that attunement is both like in the emotional verbal realm, but is also in the physical realm. So in the verbal realm is like, I get what you feel and I'd be able to reflect it back to you or say to you, oh yeah, I get why you feel frustrated about that. Oh yes, of course, I would also feel sad, if that's going to happen.
Right.
Or, so that's more in the verbal emotional realm. But there's also attunement in a more physical, sensual intimacy place of like, can I feel you when I touch you? Mm-hmm. Can I get what the kind of touch that you need or want? Like if it's pleasurable for you or not? Like, can I notice basically your needs on a more physical body level also? That's also attunement.
Yeah, and I just want to say that in our workshop, Love Made Simple, we're practicing that. We're practicing that level of connection that it's beyond words. Like, how can you really be attuned, be connected by practicing it, not just talking about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I got to share also on a personal level that for me, that's been a journey of learning this. You know, when I started many, many years ago, kind of my personal growth path, I was very kind of disconnected from my own self, my own body, didn't really know what I feel, what's going on in my body. And that also translated to like with other people, like I couldn't get exactly what's going on for them. You know, it's not that I wasn't a caring person, but I definitely had that have a very attuned, you know, or skill of being attuned to people and really feeling them. And over time, I really developed that through my own personal growth, through then becoming a therapist. And that's a lot of what actually therapists, you know, and coaches do is like attune to people basically and see like what is it like to feel them. And then over time, you know, today I even do even deeper work, more intuitive work, in which when I work sometimes with people, I even use touch and be able to feel, put a hand on them and feel into their body. And it's an amazing thing that happens. Sometimes we can have intuition of like, what is the other person feeling inside, even without them saying this. So we all have this capacity for attunement, and the more we develop it, like the more we really get the other person from the inside, even sometimes better than them. Okay. And I can give even a recent example. Like I was working with someone, and you know, part of my work is besides conversation is like having people on a table and just, you know, fully closed and just doing some gentle touch to see what's coming up for them emotionally. And this person I was working with, you know, it felt immediately as if there's a lot of tension in their body. And as I was touching it and feeling the tension in their body, I was saying like, what's coming up for me, and you check this if it's true for you, is that you feel like you have to show up. Like there was a new challenge at work for them, a new kind of role. And I was like, oh, it feels like you really have to show up. And in order to show up, you kind of you have to prop yourself up and kind of be on point all the time. But then at some point, it takes a lot of energy of you. And underneath that, like you're feeling also tired, right? And you want to just be okay the way you are, right? So all of that information came just from attunement through being with them, through using touch. So it's an example of how powerful this tool could be.
Mm-hmm. Great. So maybe we can talk about how you can develop it, how you can become more attuned to your partner. Mm-hmm. So as we mentioned before, you can look at them and try to assess the communication level, the verbal level, and also assess the physical level. Like how do they look like to you? Do you feel like they're more open, they're more tense, they're more contracted, they're more available, they're inviting you into the conversation, they may be pulling away from you. So you can start assessing the body. And then the verbal, it's like what their tone of voice, how do they deliver the message, what kind of level of sound came out of their mouth, the speed of the speech, the words that they use. So you can try to assess all of those. Okay, what does it mean for me when they actually talking really fast as me, or they kind of like having more of a lower voice right now is a difference than an hour ago, which maybe they had more energy, or maybe they're very excited and alleviated and just like right there. What does it mean to you? It's like, oh, they're more open if they are more alleviated and more excited, or they feel just closed, and how you approach each one of the state of mind.
And I like to break it down to steps.
As always.
Because I like simple steps, and I like things that are, you know, that's what we call our work, love made simple. I like to make it simple for people and kind of easy to follow, especially for people who kind of have to think about the next step. And so for me, there are 4 steps to being attuned. Okay? The first step is being present. Being present means like, are you here right now? Like if you're distracted, if you're thinking about something else, if something else occupies you, like your phone, or you're looking away, then you're not present. Then of course you're not paying attention to the other person. Second step is being open-hearted. Okay, because sometimes you can be present but be closed, and you're looking for like, okay, what's wrong about what they're saying, or how they're going to attack me, and then you're not open in your heart towards them, which means like you're not really, loving, and that won't feel attuned to the other person. The third step is what I call receiving or reception. So now that you're present and now that you're open-hearted, you have to allow yourself to take in the information. You have to allow yourself to be impacted. So I said that example before of like you're putting your foot in the water that they're swimming in. So you're allowing whatever emotions or whatever is going on for them to really wash over you. And you just be in receptive mode without looking for something. You just allow it to come to you. And so you're impacted by it. You feel their feelings. Then only the fourth step is about responding. So after you are present and you're open-hearted and you take in what's going on for them, only then you're responding. In this case, probably your response will be a very attuned response, because you'll take in what they're saying. You'll probably say something like, oh yeah, I get why you feel this way. But for my opinion, this is what it looks like. Or I get what you feel this way. Now I can adjust to that more, or kind of take that into consideration. So again, you don't have to agree, but your response is going to be so much better if you did the first 3 steps before that.
So I would like to add into all of it that there is focusing on the other person, and as I said before, you also need to focus on yourself. Can you be attuned to yourself and to where you at? What is your state of mind? What is your level of energy? How are you doing right there? It's just like making things much more simple, because if like I'm not available, I'm not going to approach a deep conversation right now when my heart is close to my partner, or when I feel like I had a hard day. Because maybe we plan to have a conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to follow that if I'm not open to it. So also assess where you at. It would be very important as part of practicing attunement.
Right. And I want to give another example how it looks like sometimes when we're working with people, we're working with couples. So many times one person is saying something and the other one is not really listening, not really taking in, or even trying their best to say the right thing, but then it still doesn't land. So what we do a lot of time with couples when we sit with them one-on-one is, if one person's sharing something, especially when they're sharing something vulnerable, something that they're really opening themselves up to, what I will a lot of time will ask the partner, I will say, so I want you to not do anything right now. Not think about your response, not think that you have to say the right thing. I want you to just sit back, relax your body, be present, right? The step of be present. Be present. See if you can be open towards your partner and their experience. Put your experience aside and just take in. Look at them in their eyes, look at their face, and just take in what they're saying. Don't be bothered by any response, just take in. And a lot of time what happens is that you can see immediately the person who's speaking relaxes in their body, and something really shifts about them. And if that's without the other person saying anything, just because their presence changes, just because they go into a space of attunement, it really affects the partner, right? And it becomes like they're like, oh, now they're with me. Now they're listening to me. And that's very powerful. Again, you might even disagree with them. You might not even do something they're asking you, but just that presence makes them feel really seen and really validated.
And maybe just like we named it in our webinar, but there is a great book which you can read in like 3 minutes and learn about attunement. And it's called The Rabbit Listen. The Rabbit or the Monkey?
The Rabbit Listen.
The Rabbit Listen. It's a children book which we love, and we teach from that book in our classes.
And you can find it on YouTube if you search for it, someone reading it for you.
Yeah, so it's very simple, very sweet, but so true about how we all need that the other person will be listening to us. Yeah.
So we hope you really enjoyed it, and if you have a moment, you can even write like in the chat, do you feel like you can do this? Do you feel like it's something you want to practice?
Right.
And for us, again, we want to emphasize, as we're kind of coming to a close here, is that attunement is really a superpower in a relationship. The more you develop it, the better communication you're going to have, the better connection you're going to have with your partner, the better sex you're going to have with them. Right? So that's definitely worth it to spend time doing it. And the 4 steps to it, again, to recap this: be present, be open-hearted, receptive, take things in, let them influence you, let them wash over you, and then respond from a place that get their response. Thank you. And so we're getting some of the comment of, I love the swim in the water metaphor. Great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everybody. We will be here next week with a new topic.
Yeah. And so if you want to follow us more, kind of check us lovemadesimple.com, and we got a lot of stuff for you guys to do that. Anywhere from mini workshop, free conversation, free information, to like a more in-depth, let's jump in to a workshop in which we create breath with love, like create a deeper connection, deeper communication with your partner.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you next week. Have a great holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.